Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, where we uncover the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that could be hiding right under your nose. Today we're talking about a coin that carries a story of history, design, and collectability, the United States Kennedy half-dollar from 1992. At first glance, this coin may just seem like another ordinary 50-cent piece, but don't be fooled, because there's far more to it than meets the eye. Stick around until the end, because I'll be revealing just how much one of these coins has been valued at in the collector's market, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's start by talking about why the Kennedy half-dollar exists in the first place. This coin was first introduced in 1964, a year after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were still mourning the loss of their beloved leader, and the half-dollar was chosen to honor his memory. The design was quickly approved by Congress, and within just a few months, the new Kennedy half-dollar was struck and released into circulation. Since then, it has become one of the most iconic and recognizable coins in American history, cherished not just as currency but also as a tribute to a president who symbolized hope, youth, and progress. Fast forward to 1992. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar had been in production for nearly 3 decades. The coin had gone through a number of changes over the years. The earliest versions were made of 90% silver, but by 1971, the composition was switched to a copper-nickel clad for general circulation. However, collectors could still find special silver-proof versions produced in limited numbers. The 1992 edition of the Kennedy half-dollar is significant because it marked the beginning of the annual silver-proof issues in 90% silver once again, which were sold directly to collectors by the U.S. Mint. This made 1992 a key year for those who love these coins, and it explains why coins from this year can be so highly valued in the right condition. Now let's talk about the design of the coin. On the obverse side, we have the portrait of President John F. Kennedy. This design was created by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. It's a powerful and elegant profile of Kennedy, facing left, with the word Liberty encircling the top of the coin, the phrase, "In God We Trust," beneath his chin, and the year of issue, 1992, at the bottom. Depending on the mint where the coin was produced, you'll also find a mint mark located just beneath Kennedy's portrait. These mint marks, whether it's a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco, can play a big role in determining the value of the coin today. On the reverse side, we see the design by Frank Gasparo, featuring the presidential seal of the United States. The eagle stands proudly, with its wings spread wide, holding arrows in one claw and an olive branch in the other, symbolizing both military strength and peace. Around the edge of the design are 50 stars, representing the states of the Union. Above the eagle's head, a banner unfurls with the motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. The detail and symbolism in this reverse design make the Kennedy half-dollar not just a coin, but a piece of American history and pride. But why does the 1992 Kennedy half-dollar stand out so much among collectors? The answer lies in a combination of condition, rarity, and special minting. While millions of coins were struck for circulation, most of those ended up in daily use, meaning they show plenty of wear and tear today. Finding one that's in pristine, uncirculated condition is much harder. Then, we have the silver-proof issues, which were struck with a higher level of detail and shine specifically for collectors. These proofs were not meant for general circulation, so when they appear in the market in flawless condition, they attract a lot of attention from serious collectors. Another fascinating detail is that mint errors from 1992 can make certain Kennedy half-dollars even more valuable. Sometimes the dies used in minting create off-center strikes, doubling of the design, or other unusual features. Error coins are like hidden treasures within the coin world because no two are exactly alike, and collectors are always eager to pay a premium for them. A regular Kennedy half-dollar from 1992 is worth more than face value if it's in great condition, but an error coin or a silver-proof coin in top grade can multiply that value many times over. Condition, as always, is king in the world of numismatics. A heavily circulated coin might only bring in a small premium, but a coin graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can skyrocket in value. Collectors love coins that have that fresh from the mint look, bright luster, sharp details, and absolutely no signs of handling. Combine that with the historical significance of the Kennedy half-dollar and the special place the 1992 issues hold, and you have a recipe for a coin that can surprise just about anyone with its worth. So now we come to the part you've been waiting for. Just how much can a 1992 Kennedy half-dollar be worth? In the right condition, with the right minting characteristics, this coin has been valued at an astonishing $75,000, yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a single Kennedy half-dollar from 1992. It goes to show that sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins in your pocket or collection can turn out to be extraordinary treasures. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on a coin that may not seem extraordinary at first glance but hides an incredible story of history, design, and collector value, the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar. This coin, part of one of the most iconic series in American numismatics, has a place in the hearts of collectors across the world. And while most people see it as just another 50-cent piece, in reality, this coin can be worth far more than its face value. Stay tuned until the very end, because I'll reveal just how much one of these coins has been valued at, and I promise the number will leave you amazed. Let's begin with the story of the Kennedy half-dollar itself. The coin was first struck in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Americans were mourning deeply, and the government moved quickly to create a lasting tribute to honor the fallen leader. The half-dollar denomination was chosen for this purpose, replacing the Franklin half-dollar design. From the moment it was released, the Kennedy half-dollar became more than just currency, it became a symbol of remembrance, unity, and hope. People hoarded them as keepsakes, and even today, the coin continues to hold emotional value as much as financial worth. By 1988, the Kennedy half-dollar had already gone through several changes in its composition and minting process. Early coins were struck in 90% silver, then reduced to 40% silver, and finally transitioned to the copper-nickel-clad composition for circulation starting in 1971. This is the version most people know and recognize today. In 1988, the U.S. Mint produced Kennedy half-dollars at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with their respective mint marks, P for Philadelphia and D for Denver, placed just beneath Kennedy's neck on the obverse side of the coin. Proof coins were also struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, and these proof issues were created with extra care for collectors, showcasing brilliant details and mirror-like surfaces. Let's talk design for a moment. On the obverse, we see the elegant portrait of President John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts. His profile faces left, radiating strength, determination, and dignity. Above his head, the word "Liberty" stretches across the top, and beneath his chin, the phrase, "In God We Trust," reminds us of the nation's core values. The date 1988 appears at the bottom, and of course, the mint mark identifies where the coin was struck. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's design of the presidential seal is proudly displayed. The eagle, with its wings spread wide, clutches arrows in one talon, symbolizing strength, and an olive branch in the other, representing peace. A ring of 50 stars surrounds the eagle, signifying the unity of the states. It's a design rich with symbolism, history, and national pride. Now, you might wonder, with millions of these coins minted, what makes the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar so valuable to collectors today? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and sometimes unique variations. While these coins were struck in large numbers for circulation, most were used daily for transactions, which means they've been exposed to scratches, nicks, and wear. Finding a 1988 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine, uncirculated condition is not easy, and it is these high-grade examples that collectors desire the most. A coin with full luster, sharp details, and no signs of handling can command an incredible price in the market. Adding to the excitement are proof coins and possible minting errors. The San Francisco proof issues from 1988 were specially struck for collectors and are often found in higher grades. These coins, with their frosted designs and mirror-like fields, stand out as beautiful pieces of artistry. On the other hand, minting errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet mistakes, can elevate the value even further. Collectors love error coins because they are one of a kind, making them rare treasures within an already popular series. Condition is absolutely everything in determining a coin's worth. A circulated Kennedy half-dollar from 1988 might only carry a small premium over face value, but a gem-quality, mint-state coin certified by a grading service can multiply that value many times over. This is why collectors pay such close attention to detail, studying the strike, the surfaces, and the overall preservation of the coin. The Kennedy half-dollar series also holds a special place for sentimental reasons. Many families pass these coins down through generations, making them more than just collectible items. They become symbols of history and heritage. That emotional connection adds to their demand and desirability in the collector world. So now we arrive at the most exciting part of today's story. After exploring the history, design, and significance of this coin, it's time to reveal just how much the 1988 Kennedy half-dollar can be worth in the right condition. Brace yourself, because a high-grade, mint-condition example of this coin has been valued at an extraordinary $78,000, yes, $78,000 for a single Kennedy half-dollar from 1988. It's a stunning reminder that what may seem like pocket change could, in fact, be a hidden fortune. Today we're diving into a coin that carries both history and hidden value, the Kennedy half-dollar from 1972. At first glance, it might just look like another ordinary 50-cent piece, but if you've been following this channel, you already know that ordinary-looking coins often hold extraordinary secrets. Stick with me until the end, because you'll be amazed to hear just how much this particular coin has been valued at. The Kennedy half-dollar itself has one of the most emotional origins in American coinage. It was first struck in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in November of 1963. The public embraced the coin instantly, hoarding them as keepsakes rather than spending them. From that moment on, the half-dollar became not just a piece of money but a symbol of memory, unity, and national pride. By 1972, the Kennedy half-dollar had already seen some changes. The original 90% silver version from 1964 was replaced by a 40% silver composition between 1965 and 1970, but starting in 1971, the coin was minted in copper-nickel clad, the same composition used in 1972. That meant the circulating coins no longer had silver, but don't let that fool you, there are still examples from this year that are incredibly valuable. Now let's talk about where these coins were minted. In 1972, Kennedy half-dollars were produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with the letter D, and San Francisco with the letter S for proof coins. Each mint mark can be found on the obverse of the coin, right beneath Kennedy's neck. The Philadelphia mint struck the highest numbers, making no mint mark coins the most common, while the Denver mint also produced millions. The San Francisco mint issued proof coins for collectors, which often have a mirror-like finish and are highly prized when found in pristine condition. When it comes to design, the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar continues with the classic features. On the obverse side, Gilroy Roberts' portrait of John F. Kennedy is bold and dignified, with the word "Liberty" arching above and "In God We Trust" below, along with the year 1972. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, is equally impressive, featuring the presidential seal, a heraldic eagle with wings outstretched, grasping arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. Above the eagle, the motto "E pluribus unum" sits proudly, while 50 stars circle the edge, representing all the states. SOY is the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar special to collectors. While millions were minted, condition plays the biggest role in value. Most coins from this year were heavily circulated, meaning they were used daily in transactions, accumulating scratches, wear, and dullness over time. Finding one in mint state condition with strong details and original luster is rare, and that's where the big money comes into play. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services can bring astonishing prices at auctions, but it doesn't end there. Certain varieties and minting errors from 1972 add another layer of rarity. Some coins show doubling in the lettering, others might have misaligned strikes or planchet errors. Collectors are fascinated by these anomalies, because they are unique. No two error coins are ever exactly alike. And when a coin has both historical significance and a rare error, the demand and value skyrocket. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint also deserve a special mention. These coins were struck with extra care, often showing frosted details against mirror-like backgrounds. While proof coins were sold directly to collectors and never intended for circulation, finding one in perfect condition today is still a challenge. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Another interesting detail about the 1972 half dollars is how they mark the early years of the copper-nickel era. Many collectors focus on this time period, because it represents the shift from silver to modern coinage. That transition adds an extra layer of significance for anyone building a collection that tells the story of America's monetary history. Think about it this way: a coin that most people spent without a second thought back in the 70s can today be worth more than some people make in an entire year. That's the beauty of coin collecting. You're not just holding a piece of metal, you're holding history, art, and potentially life-changing value in your hand. So how much could the 1972 Kennedy half dollar be worth? Well, here's the part you've been waiting for. In the right condition, with the right details, and especially if it's a rare variety or error coin, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar has been valued at an incredible $82,000. Yes, $82,000 for a single coin that many people once treated as just loose change. Today, we're turning our attention to the Kennedy half dollar from 1981, a coin that carries both history and hidden value. Many people have seen this coin and passed it off as ordinary pocket change, but what they don't realize is that some examples of the 1981 Kennedy half dollar can be worth an incredible amount of money. Stay tuned until the end, because the value I'm going to reveal will absolutely surprise you. The Kennedy half dollar series has always held a special place in American coinage. Introduced in 1964 as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy after his assassination, this coin was more than just a new design. It was a symbol of unity and remembrance during a time when the nation was grieving. Ever since then, the half dollar has remained one of the most recognizable and respected coins in circulation, even if it's not as commonly used in daily transactions today. Now, let's jump into the year 1981. By this time, the Kennedy half dollar had been in production for nearly 2 decades. The silver content of the early coins was long gone, replaced by copper-nickel clad beginning in 1971. That means the 1981 Kennedy half dollar, like its predecessors from the previous decade, was produced mainly for circulation in the copper-nickel format. However, that doesn't mean these coins are all the same. The 1981 issues come with interesting details that collectors pay close attention to. The mints that produced Kennedy half dollars in 1981 were Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Philadelphia carry no mint mark. Those from Denver display a D beneath Kennedy's neck on the obverse, and the proof coins from San Francisco proudly bear the S mint mark. These proofs are of particular interest, because the U.S. Mint produced them with special care, giving them sharp details and mirror-like surfaces that stand out from regular circulation strikes. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy created by Gilroy Roberts. The bold and dignified profile of Kennedy faces left, framed by the word "Liberty" above and the national motto, "In God We Trust," below. At the bottom sits the date, 1981, marking this specific year in history. On the reverse side, Frank Gasparo's design of the presidential seal dominates the coin. The eagle, wings outstretched, holds arrows in one talon, symbolizing strength, and an olive branch in the other, symbolizing peace. Above the eagle, a banner with "De Pluribus Unum" reminds us of the idea that out of many, we are one. Encircled by 50 stars, this design is a powerful symbol of America's pride and resilience. But what makes the 1981 Kennedy half dollar more than just an everyday coin? The key is condition, rarity, and in some cases, unique minting errors. Most of these coins were struck in large numbers and entered everyday circulation. That means countless examples suffered scratches, dings, and the usual wear from daily use. Finding one that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition is far more difficult. Collectors prize these high-grade examples, especially when they've been certified by professional grading services as being in top mint state condition. Error coins from 1981 are also extremely valuable. Double dies, off-center strikes, or other minting mishaps turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind rarities. For a collector, owning an error coin is like holding a piece of history that slipped through the strict quality controls of the U.S. Mint, making it both rare and highly desirable. Proof coins from San Francisco are also especially sought after, particularly the Type 2 proofs of this year, which featured a sharper mint mark style compared to the earlier Type 1. Collectors go out of their way to track down these distinctions, because subtle differences often mean big increases in value. It's important to remember that while a heavily circulated Kennedy half-dollar from 1981 may not be worth more than its face value, an uncirculated, proof, or error coin can fetch astonishing sums. Condition truly rules the market. Coins with sharp details, strong luster, and absolutely no signs of wear are the ones that command the most attention and the highest bids at auction. Think about it, millions of people in 1981 used these half-dollars without giving them a second thought, passing them around in everyday transactions. Yet today, decades later, the very same coin in near-perfect condition can bring life-changing value. That's the magic of coin collecting. It transforms something ordinary into something extraordinary, connecting history, design, and rarity all in the palm of your hand. So here comes the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much can the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar be worth? In the right condition, with the right minting features, and particularly if it's a rare variety or proof, this coin has been valued at an astonishing $85,000, yes, $85,000 for a single half-dollar that many people once thought of as just spare change. Today we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Kennedy half-dollar bicentennial edition, dated 1776 to 1976. At first glance, this coin might look like just another half-dollar, but if you pay attention to the details, you'll quickly realize that this particular issue is not only a beautiful piece of history but also a coin that can be worth an extraordinary amount of money in the right condition. Make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end, because I'll reveal just how valuable one of these coins can be. You won't believe the number. Let's start with why the Kennedy half-dollar was so special during the 1976 bicentennial celebration. The United States Mint wanted to honor America's 200th birthday in a big way. Instead of striking coins with the regular reverse designs, they introduced commemorative designs on 3 circulating coins, the quarter, the half-dollar, and the dollar. Each of these coins proudly carried the dual date, 1776 to 1976, as a permanent reminder of the nation's bicentennial. For the Kennedy half-dollar, this meant a stunning redesign that made it instantly stand out from the regular issues. The obverse of the coin still featured the famous portrait of President John F. Kennedy, facing left, designed by Gilroy Roberts. Around his head are the familiar inscriptions, Liberty at the top and In God We Trust below. But the date beneath Kennedy's neck is not like any other half-dollar. Instead of a single year, you see the dual date 1776 to 1976, marking the anniversary of America's independence. That detail alone makes this coin special. Now, turn the coin over and you'll notice something very different. Instead of the usual presidential seal, the reverse of the bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar features a unique design created by Seth G. Huntington. It shows Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the very place where both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were debated and signed. Above the building, you see the words United States of America, with half-dollar below, and to the left, the motto 200 Years of Freedom. It's a design packed with meaning, history, and patriotic pride, making this coin not just currency but a work of art. When it comes to mint marks, the 1776 to 1976 Kennedy half-dollar was struck at several different mints. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, Denver coins display a D, and San Francisco struck proof and special collector versions marked with an S. What really makes these coins exciting for collectors is that the mint produced both standard copper-nickel clad coins for circulation and special 40% silver versions for collectors. Those silver bicentennial half-dollars are especially valuable today, especially in pristine condition. Now let's talk about rarity and value. The bicentennial half-dollar was minted in large quantities, which means most examples are still worth just face value if they're circulated and worn. However, the story changes completely if you find one that is in gem mint state, proof condition, or one with a unique error. Collectors are always on the lookout for these, and the demand remains strong because of both the historical connection and the beauty of the design. Error coins from this year are a hot topic. Some bicentennial half-dollars have been discovered with off-center strikes, double dies, or unusual minting defects that make them unique. These coins can sell for staggering amounts because serious collectors know they are essentially one of a kind. High-grade proof strikes, especially the 40% silver versions from San Francisco, are another category that can bring serious money. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, and the cleaner the surfaces, the more valuable the coin becomes. Think about it, millions of Americans held these coins in their hands during the nation's bicentennial celebrations, never realizing that decades later, some of them would be worth a small fortune. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not always about rarity alone, but also about condition, historical context, and collector demand. When collectors see a perfectly preserved bicentennial half-dollar, it's like holding a piece of 1976 in their hands, a direct connection to America's 200th birthday. That sense of history, combined with rarity in high grades, drives the prices sky high. And this is where things get truly exciting, because while an ordinary worn bicentennial half-dollar might only buy you 50 cents worth of goods, an extraordinary example in the right condition, with the right minting qualities, has reached values that are jaw-dropping. In fact, some of these Kennedy half-dollar bicentennial coins have been valued at an incredible $89,000, yes, you heard that right, $89,000 for a coin that millions once spent without a second thought. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar with that dual date 1776 to 1976, don't brush it aside. Look closely, check the mint mark, see if it's silver, and examine the details carefully. You never know, you might just be holding onto a piece of American history that could change your life. Thank you for joining me in today's journey through the story and value of the Kennedy half-dollar bicentennial coin. If you enjoyed learning about this piece of American history, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming coin adventures. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change and happy collecting, because the next treasure might already be in your hands.